Alrighty. Due to the fact that most of the people interested are coming from a longer distance and can't actually come up just to see the truck, I'll do a couple of these videos to kind of show what we're working with. Don't worry about these wires here. They'll be tucked up and everything. They were to run these turn signal and brake lights up here on both sides, and also the reverse lights that are mounted up here because there are none on the bumper. The wire hanging down here is for the hammers up there. It wasn't connected yet. Alright. Quite chilly out this morning. So, it is a 78. It's carbureted 2-barrel. A lot of the vacuum lines had disintegrated on it by the time I got to it, so we just basically plugged them off. Everything works. The brakes are a tad bit spongy at the moment. They just need to be bled is what I'm thinking, so that's what I'm going to be doing here in the next couple of days. The brake light does stay on because of that. So I'm going to pump it. Shut the door in. Alright, sorry about that. My neighbor came by to say hello. So, lights work. Heater works. Takes a while to warm up. But the gasket in the dog box is it's there, but it's not all that great. So you do get a lot of heat coming from inside the dog box and at your feet. It's great for the winter time, not so great in the summertime, but I was just going to get some foam and seal it up with the window foam that you can get. The radio works. It's got a short though sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't want to come on right away. You got to give it a second. And it will not save the radio station. So as you can see, I'm going to put it at 94.9.
Blowing our hair, we were cutting class. Do it all already.
But if I turn off the truck and turn it back on, it'll go right back down to it resets. So the capacitor or the battery in there is gone for the radio. It does come with a interior LED. I just converted it. The CB and everything can go with it. I don't know if I gave you this one or not. I installed the marker lights myself. They're on the boards with a running ground. As you can see, the headlights work. I'll take it around the block for you. So as you can see, the brakes do work. See, I'm slowing myself down. But as you can see, I kind of got to press them quite hard to get them to work. They're just spongy about that point. So basically halfway to the floor, nothing. Then after that, it works. You get used to it pretty quick. But like I said, I'm going to try to fix that myself. I think it just needs to be bled. As you can see, the gas gauge doesn't quite work yet. It was working at one point. It didn't work when we got it. I took out a lot of the old wiring and it started working again, but then we were delivering a motorcycle and we drug a stick behind us when we dropped it off at the barn. Apparently we ran into a bushel of sticks and one of them caught and pulled some wires, made the tail lights and everything not work, so we bypassed all that and ran all new wires, but the gas gauge still isn't working. But it's easy to keep track of your gas by the odometer. I normally say that it's 8 miles a gallon. If I put 10 bucks in, that's 4 gallons, that's 32 miles. I'll say 30 miles because of the cold starts. Heat gauge, everything else works. The oil gauge, I don't know how it works, but I'm guessing it works because it's some kind of digital something, but I've never seen it light up or anything. There. Yeah, I don't know what that's supposed to be for. It's never worked. I just keep an eye on oil myself. Biggest thing is getting between these cars. It's only got 2 speakers for the radio and they're both behind you. This thing up front is a sound bar I installed myself, but it won't be staying on here. It was a temporary fix while the radio didn't work when we first got it. Now this thing here is pretty nifty. I put an inverter in, but that won't be going with it, not this one at least. Now the baby monitor, which is my backup camera, that can go with it. As you can see, the backup lights are quite bright. They're actually 2 LED lights. 2 LED spotlights in the back. Parking it's quite difficult when there's people around me. She creaks and pops a little bit. The idle right now is not set perfectly. We have it set with the cold start idle. So essentially the screws tightened in a little too much because of the vacuum issues. But like I said, it gets up, it goes. It does run a tad bit rich. If you feel like going in there and fiddling with the carburetor, whatever else could cause it, probably something with the vacuum lines, you might get better gas mileage than 8 miles a gallon, but that's been pretty steady what we get with a load or without a load. When we towed the truck, they were still right on time with the gas mileage. Alternator works, as you can tell, pushing 14.3 volts with the headlights on. Now it's not the prettiest machine. As you can see, we sealed it out from water with some sprayed insulation. This is just board behind it, and this is just a board up here. We did get some leaking, so we put some more spraying insulation, and it seemed to stop leaking, but my goal, if I keep it, is I'm going to take this board off. It's just like 6 screws up there, and I'm going to put some caulking in here and put it back down and use too much, if you know what I mean. Over there, those are the wires running to the CB, to the ground, and to the baby monitor. That's outside the camera. Now there's a short in that front turn signal because the socket's bad. So as you can see, that turn signal shows that it's always on. But when you turn it on, it does work. It's just a short somewhere in there. I planned on LEDing it. Fan works. It's got the dual setup fans. That's just defroster. This is everything else. Every once in a while, if I take it out after it warms up and everything, I take it for a very long spin. When I cut it off, you can hear it sputter like it doesn't want to turn off. It'll go bloom, 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 and then stop. That's just when you, like I said, it's running rich. So when you go to cut it off, after you've given it a while, you just give it some gas, give it about 1500 RPM, then cut it off with your foot on the pedal, and it should pretty much take care of that. You know, you don't have to do that, but it helps. This will be the center console coming with it. Slides forward. That's the brand new oil filter about to go on there in a couple days here. When it opens up, there's a new fuel filter that's going to go in there. Now it does have a brand new coil, brand new distributor cap, and new plugs and wires. Now I didn't do the rotor button, I didn't do the distributor cap. Someone else did that. I'm not sure if they did the rotor button or not. So I haven't played with it yet. This is just what I got so far. Now I did run LEDs, as you can see they're hanging out here. I did run LEDs inside there because originally the dash lights didn't work, but they started working on their own. And so yeah, there is an LED strip up here that's coming down. It goes all the way across that top piece there. You can kind of see it bowing over there, right there. It's just a white LED that cuts on with a USB, so if you need more light in here. Now this door piece here is bent, that piece there. So sometimes that light will come on by itself, other times it won't. So I just got in the habit of manually turning it on. That door doesn't work when you open that door. This doesn't come on ever. So this one is my go-to. That's for these LEDs, but they're not working right up there at the moment. This switch here is for the Ooga horns on top. I didn't have a push button on me at the time, so toggle switch is what I did. Because the horn that's on here works, it's just pitiful. Now I don't know what you guys will be using for it, but battery box down here has straps in it. They may or may not be going with it. I haven't decided yet, because there's quite a few of them. It's got a box here, but no door for it yet. A piece of plywood and a hinge would be fine. There's hinges there. I put them in there with the board, but I tore the board off when I left it open one day and hit it on that pole right there. Over here I've got what used to be the wheel covers there. I turned them into toolboxes instead, because when I put the truck on there, I hadn't quite put the ramps in yet. So I took some 2x10 pieces, I cut off the end of these, and I laid them on there and used drive over top. It pushed them down, but it'll be fine for the moment. So as you can see, I've got my drill box and a bunch of other stuff in here. I got a matching one on the other side. That jack will not fit this one, unless you get some blocks. I just have it in there because I do roadside bolt cutters and everything, just in case. The latching mechanism is pretty simple, just a chain over a bolt. It's worked fine for the time I've had the truck. Been about a month and a half, maybe 2. You got another one over here. This one here is a tad bit different. Instead of a chain, it's a string with a latch. See, I got 4 pair of jumper cables, tow chain, safety chain, and a V-bridle for hooking to the frame to tow someone out of a ditch. Or for bolting up here. Now, as you can see, this board isn't painted because I actually knocked this board off and lost it and had to go back and took 3 days to find it. Apparently somebody picked it up and moved it for me. These here have been tested really strong. I use these to hold down the motorcycle and everything. They're really good. They're fine for a vehicle so far, as long as you have the e-brake and park and everything on it. I haven't really put them through the ringer, and I wouldn't trust them all to by themselves. That's why I use those, and I take screws and I screw down these 4x4s here behind the wheels to hold them when I tow something. This here is an outdoor power box. It's just extension cord for like Christmas or some shit. I ended up running that to the inverter, so when the inverter's on, I can plug stuff up out here. Here's just to kind of hide the ugly, but it's good for straps and such. As you can see, those are the backup lights. That was part of an old bed frame, but it hides the ugly pretty well. Mirrors and stuff, you should probably get some new blind spot mirrors. This one here's got some kind of fade to it. The one's cracked. Yeah, the other my spraying installation used. Rear, I actually cleaned it up. And this is nothing but primer. That's a spray-on paint primer. Small little crack there in the grill. But yeah, there she is. Like I said, the tires have sat for so long because they were sitting on the vehicle. They hold air, and they've got me where I want them to go. However, I wouldn't trust them for too long, heavy trips. The inside tires are better than the outside on the back. And I got that light, LED light up there. All that stuff will pretty much stay, you know, unless, like I said, if someone wants to underball me quite a bit, I'll take some of this stuff off, try to keep some of my money. But like I said, I don't really want to get rid of her. It's just, like I said, if someone wants to offer me some cash, I'll move on to the next project. As you can see, I've got this truck here. I've got the van, the Ford, the other Chevy sitting over there. And I got another couple Crown Vics. And, you know, I've got more than enough. I mean, yeah, I love this old girl. But, I mean, someone picks them up before I get too deep into it, that's fine too. This is the original roofing here, piece here. It has not been tacked up or anything. It's just been sitting there for the longest time. My plan was to put 2x4s up here and then screw through these into the 2x4s, and that was going to hold the spare tires. My plan was, those are 16.5s, these are 16.5s. I have 2 brand new tires going on the front that are a size bigger. And I was planning on replacing the back ones with 16s instead of 16.5s. That would match the size in the front, so that you can get used tires easier. And these would already have the 2 new tires, and I'd keep these tires as well. So you'd have a bunch of spare tires. So if I switch those to 16s, they'll stay on the rims and everything. And so there'll be new rims and tires back there. Well, new rims, used tires. Well, probably used tires and rims, to be honest with you. And up here would be the 16.5s still. But they would have, you know, these 2 spare tires, not to mention blew a flat. You put the other spare back on the rim, you could take the tires off the back and put them in the front because they won't be there. They'll be up there. I plan on doing a tire rack up there for them. So, side of the road, if you wanted to, you could take the tires off and put the 16.5s back on if you blew a flat or something like that. However, you guys wanted to do it. These wires, like I said, they'll be hidden. They actually come up to a trailer-like plug that's inside here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's one of the 4-prong plugs, and that's done that way. It's actually one of those plugs there. Same thing in the back. For the back light, the actual tail lights, they're wired in the same exact way where you can unplug them. The reason I did that was because I have some more magnetic lights. See, as you can see, it's just plugged. I have more sets of those magnetic lights. So if I'm towing that and a trailer behind me or a dolly behind me, I'll disconnect from there and I'll run them with the other tail lights, because these here will always function as long as they're plugged in there. Not to mention that if I had a vehicle on the back of here that was taller than that, I could unplug from in here, plug in the magnetic lights and put them on top of there as well, top of the vehicle. It only has 4 mount brackets like that there. One there, and the 2 in the back there. So yeah, it's could use a few more. I just haven't got around to it. Now the fuel fill is there, but it's kind of rednecked. We had to shorten the hose because the hose had a leak. So when you do the fuel, you have to hold it like half mash, otherwise it won't go in right. It won't leak or anything. It's the way it sets, it's kind of level with the tank. So when you go to put the gas in, it'll fill up that hose really quickly. So I hold it at about half mash, and it'll kick back sometimes like it's full. You got to give it a second to drain in, then you got to spray some more. It does it like I put 10 bucks of gas in here, and I'll go to fill it up, and like 2 seconds in you hear thunk, like it's done. Give it a second and then give it some more, or if you'll learn it pretty quickly. All that's holding that up is a wire that goes through into there. That's why I have that set there, because we haven't made a bracket for it yet. My goal is, well, you know, if I don't sell it, I'm going to run it all the way back to behind the bumper there with a long radiator type hose, and then put the fuel fill up there to make it easier to fill it, and it gives it that long neck and a downgrade to be able to get into the tank pretty well. So there you have it. I haven't primed or sanded down these yet. As you can see, it was a camper, and someone tried to turn it into a food truck, and they spray painted hot pink, and didn't like that, so we tore the whole back off of it, literally with some chains. We run chains through here and ran them to a pole and took off. It cut the whole bottom off. We took it, loaded up, took it to the dump, and put about $400 worth of wood in the back there. Those, I think, are 2x8s. And from the wheel wells forward, the subfloor is still on there from the original camper, because we tore off the back subfloor from their back, and it turned out that it was actually still in good condition, because when we tore it up, it looked like brand new wood underneath. So we left this one in and just bolted straight down to it. Back there, it's bolted to the frame. Up here, it's still into the frame in a few spots, and the rest is just into the subframe, the wooden subframe. As you can see there, that's the cracked one I was telling you about. So like I said, these need to come off, be sanded down and painted. I just haven't got around to it yet. Like I said, it's a project truck, but it's good as it is if you don't care about the cosmetics like I do. I've seen people do less. I mean, like, I didn't even take off the lettering. You can see flare on there. That was a Dodge Flare. I could have took the heat gun and pulled it off, which I probably still will do eventually. There's some overspray on the side window there. Minor stuff, like I said, that if you don't care about it, if you're just going to drive it for a work truck, I mean, no one really cares about it. You don't even have to fix that. That was just my plans. But there you go. So it's like I said, you can see the pink on that bumper too. As I said, a lot of people that are interested in this are coming from further away. So figured I'd do this video for you guys. Oh. Over here, something else to remember is the way these connect. There's little ball knuckles inside, and the pins are going at them for some reason, so all I did is reconnect them and zip tie them. It's worked for the last couple months, but I would get the actual pins. I think they're just C-clamps. I don't have any laying around. So, quick redneck fix. I'll probably fix that eventually, or if you guys pick it up, you can fix it either way. But yeah, alrighty, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, let me know.